didn't hear the rules of the game. We have 21 speakers. You've got 4 minutes, and I will be rude no matter who you are.
We have got to win this next election. Indignation is not enough.
People have never felt so remote from party politics.
A Worcester woman has become oldie mum, shopping for the basics in her local supermarket, but maybe going to Aldi for the Prosecco.
Just consider what a Martian landing from outer space would think.
So the challenge for all of us is to go out and show people why Labour is relevant to them.
Excuse me, sir. Which screen is Movement for Change? Turn to screen 6.
People always say to me, this campaign, the difference that we have made as Labour in standing up and saying that we want to end legal loan sharks has come from Parliament. No, it hasn't. It's come from the grassroots up. As Martin Luther King used to say, faith is taking the first step even when you can't see the whole staircase.
Go back to where we were, come on.
Well, as long as these people, can you keep out the way, please?
Ed Miliband has a dream. He wants to revive Labour as a mass membership party, and he's managed to get the help of a veritable American star.
Many people in this country have seen the show The Wire. Well, I organize in that neighborhood. And when I'm not here, I'm in The Wire. The party's not going to have any power unless it taps into the power of the community, because I don't think it's going to win. And if it does win, maybe this is heresy, but if it doesn't win on the terms of opening up the party and being part of people of the party, they'd be like Democrats in the States. They'll win one time, lose one time, win one time, lose one time, because they're not about anything. But if you get engaged in the community, everything from, like dog fowl, which seems to be a big thing in this country, to more serious things, start to engage them and their neighbors around doing something about that. That's different than just saying, well, I'm Labour, the Labour Party's going to do this for you.
So there are 190,000 people or thereabouts in the Labour Party at the moment.
That's right.
If all this works, have you got a ballpark figure in mind?
100 activists in each key seat. Our last meeting in Hastings 2 weeks ago, it was 88 people. Swindon was 55 people. Can we replicate that with all the organizers? And then I think we start to become a mass party.
What, you'll start to hit sort of, 300,000 or 400,000?
Yes, absolutely.
That was Arnie Graph. Here's another graph. It shows the declining trend of party membership since the mid-1960s. After Labour's defeat in 2010, it did gain members, but at the last count, their figures had started to decline again.
I want to see our party become more in touch with thousands and thousands of working men and women at a local level.
While conference debate about party reform rages, happens, we're off to test the chances of Labour finding new recruits.
About making Labour more visible to the people.
Activists of Brighton, Labour needs you.
Standing with hard-working people, their families, their communities.
We're in the community. You're in the community. Oh, why are you laughing, sir?
I'm the one thing you kept sorry.
Do you think we've got time? We're working class.
No, just think the constraints of party politics make it very difficult to actually be yourself and to live by your own morals.
We're certainly not going to accept any advice on democracy and transparency from people who brought us the cash for honour scandals or whose activities are funded by cash from wealthy outsiders who refuse to give the party money but prefer to lay cuckoos in CLP nests.
The GMB, with over 3 times the membership of the party to which it's still affiliated, for the time being, is also, funnily enough, at the centre of one of Brighton's biggest community campaigns.
Audiology recently, that's gone quietly now out into the private hands with Specsavers providing it. Renal services are now expected to move into private hands, 50% of that.
The mental health hospitals, some of those are now being relocated elsewhere.
This campaign has been much wider than the trade union, much wider than the political parties, and it has to be, otherwise it won't be a successful campaign. On the street stalls we've had in Hastings, we've had staff out there, we've had patient users out there campaigning with us.
I've never known a time in recent history where there's as much activism, there's many people taking an active interest in what goes on, and yet party membership is falling, right? So what does that tell us?
It tells us that party politics is not responding in a democratic and open way. If you had grassroots Labour Party members having real say over policy right from the start, then we might not have had Labour in the last government promoting foundation trusts in the first place.
Indeed.
You know, if we can give the parties back to the people, then that's what's going to attract people to get back involved in political parties. If you're basically there simply to clap when your leader comes on stage and that's it, then that's not a very compelling...
I can forgive.
Join the Labour Party. Sorry about Iraq. We're going to bin the bedroom tax. Come on, why are you laughing?
I like his policy on childcare a lot.
But they
and
just
he
announced.
won't destroy the NHS as well, which is always a bonus.
Okay. So would you stump up 125 a month and possibly go to the odd meeting from time to time? Wow. Do you want to take one of these?
Thanks. You seem really shocked.
So it's a really massive estate, but it's very, very isolated. It is about a mile from Brighton, but it might as well be in Scunthorpe. The main thing that's engulfing my whole world, trying to open the first co-op pub on a housing estate in the UK. The idea is it's going to be more than a pub. Basically, it's a village hall with a boozer.
Are politicians or people aspiring to hold political office, are they interested in what you're doing here?
Well, they are in this ward because it's a marginal. You know, we've been in the Conservative and the Labour Party election leaflets. We're a big society, we're cooperative, we're, you know, residents getting together to make things happen. We hit all the political parties' buttons, but so far we haven't had any really concrete support to make it happen.
The idea down there is perhaps if you joined the Labour Party, you would then be right in among it all, bringing all your energy, and you'd be among people who could really help. Does that appeal in any way?
It's not really, you know, my thing is, I think if you want things to change, you get together with people and make them happen. And I just think, even locally, when I follow people on Twitter, and I follow all the political parties, it's just the endless bickering and point scoring and that, it just puts people off. You know, the anti-green stuff from Labour is just, it's just relentless. Shut the fuck up.
What do you want them to, instead of having a dig, what do you want them to do?
Well, you know, local councillors, I think really, I wish they'd abolish all parties for local councillors. You had independents who could work together for what's best.
Friends of the Earth fringe meeting today.
Power to the people.
Frack free Sussex and everywhere.
Do you know who your local Labour parliamentary candidate is?
Can't remember her name,
Help vote for Philina
unfortunately.
Let's Labour MP. Give a pound
That's
to
her,
Perna.
Perna Sen.
Okay. Do you know what her position is on fracking?
I don't. Do you know? This
Absolutely.
person.
And if you'd been here this morning, you'd have seen Sussex Labour Party campaigning against fracking. But because you're anti-Labour, your group, you don't bother
How do
talking
you
to
know?
us.
How do you know
Because
what group
members
I
of
am?
members of the Brighton Anti-Fracking Coalition were here on Saturday, and they didn't even bother talking to us about our position on
You'd be
fracking.
reaching out to them a bit.
Has a Labour MP visited the Balkan camp like Caroline Lucas has?
Well, in our resolution, it's one of the things we were calling on.
But
And it's
have any Labour
unfortunate-
candidates been to Balkan?
I don't know.
I haven't.
Not aware of it.
I know that there's been contingents go up from the local Labour Party. Our Labour Party submitted contemporary resolutions on fracking. We're very
No,
much
I'm just
opposed to
saying
it. That is the debate we would have liked to have had at conference. But
So what happened?
There were lots of resolutions put in about fracking at conference, and they've all been ruled out of order.
What? Say that again?
Well, doesn't that tell you everything you need to know about why there's this gap between this woman here and you?
We can't just be a party of 200,000 people. We've got to be a party of 500,000, 600,000. And I'm optimistic enough, some might say idealistic enough, to believe that's possible. Let's make ourselves truly the people's party once again.